Football Manager 24 is right around the corner, and one thing FM players love more than anything else is a good old-fashioned rebuild. Taking a team that were once a force to be reckoned with, who have now fallen off of their pedestal, back to their glory days. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 rebuilds outside of England that you can get your teeth stuck into. Between 1998 and 99 and the 2018-19 season, Lyon only finished outside the top 4 once, with a 5th place finished in 2014. They won Liga 1 titles 7 times on the bounce between 2002 and 2008, but they've dropped off in recent seasons. They had 2 7th place and 1 8th place finish in the last 4 seasons, and there's a new era at the club. John Textor is a new owner and president, replacing Jean-Michel Oulet, who was in charge for 3 decades. And it hasn't gone well to begin with for Mr. Textor. They've lost several first-team players this summer, including Moussa Dembele, Castello Luquiba, Bradley Barcola and Thiago Mendes. And they haven't really got the money to replace them. They've brought in players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles on a free transfer, Jake O'Brien from Crystal Palace for €1 million, and their most highest paid transfer fee this summer was €5 million for Clinton Mata from Bruges. It's been a struggle. There are financial troubles. The club funds have been frozen. There's a legal dispute between the old owner and the new owner. And their transfer activities have been extremely limited. Hence the small fees paid and the underwhelming deals done this summer. The off-field problems have also affected the players on the pitch, with a poor start to the season in real life that have left them fearing a relegation battle this season. Not sure if FM24 is going to replicate those financial troubles or the transfer limitations, but if it does, it's going to make for a very interesting save. It's going to make it tough, and your chances of becoming the best team in France are going to start off very, very limited. I tried to rebuild Sampdoria at FM22 and it went tits up. It was horrible. In fact, I didn't even last a season before I got the sack. Money was tight, the squad was full of old players, the quality just weren't there, and yeah, it was tough. I could not get a result for love nor money, but I am going to be trying this save again during FM24 at some point. It's probably going to be a one-off video, but we will see, because now it's a completely different challenge. Sampdoria, who once sat atop the Italian Football League, now play in the second tier after a rough few seasons. And it may have been heartbreaking for Sampdoria fans to see their club relegated, but it's a massive chance to hit the reset button and have a proper in real life rebuild. And you can start that rebuild off in FM24 and attempt to take Sampdoria back to their glory days. Deportivo La Coruña is the popular Spanish rebuild, the former Spanish League champions who now ply their trade in the 3rd tier of Spanish football. But I'm going for another team in the 3rd tier for number 3 on this list, and that is Malaga. Quarter-finalists in the Champions League just 10 years ago, but now in the 3rd tier, like I said, after a series of off-field problems, including their owner owing the club a load of money. And they even said they were going to put their entire team up for release back in 2020, just to try and keep them from going out of business. They are still in business, but they are struggling. And the Spanish 3rd flight is quite tough to get out of. Only 1 automatic promotion spot in each of the 2 sections of the league. And then there is 1 playoff place available in each section as well. So it's going to be tough to try and finish in those promotion spots, especially when you're a team like Malaga and you haven't got any money. Or you at least haven't spent any anyway. There are some very good teams in the Spanish 3rd tier as well. So you've got some tough competition. And not only have you got to build a team good enough to get out of the Spanish 3rd tier, you then go into the Spanish 2nd tier, which is going to be even tougher. You've got to then get a better squad together to try and get up to the Liga, back to the top flight. And it won't be a success, this rebuild, until you get Malaga back in the Champions League. So it's going to be a long, long rebuild if you choose Malaga, but it'll all be worth it in the end. Number 4 on our list isn't exactly a giant of European football, but FC Groningen were a mainstay in the top flight of Dutch football for 23 seasons. They sometimes competed near the top of the table, they sometimes competed near the bottom of the table, but they were generally a mid-table side for the last 2 decades. They played in the Europa League in 2015-16, thanks to winning the Dutch Cup in 2015, which is their only major honour to date. But after a campaign last season which has been dubbed their worst ever, with managerial sackings, the director of football got the boot, there were board members resigning left, right and centre, they got knocked out the cup by an amateur team, and they finished bottom of the Dutch top flight. They are now playing in the second tier. Apparently, the team are unfit, unbalanced, lacked quality and had no personality. So, there are 4 things you need to fix straight from the off. Put all those things right and you can build a squad capable of getting back to the top flight, and then you can take them higher than they've ever been before, which incidentally was 3rd place back in 1991. There's a possibility of creating something magical at Groningen. They've got some great youth facilities, so it could be again another one of those youth to gold or youth only kind of saves. And there have been several star players go through the doors at Groningen in the past. Arjen Robben, Ronald Koeman and Virgil van Dijk all started their senior careers at Groningen. Robben and Koeman come through their youth ranks and Virgil van Dijk signed for them at the age of 18. Luis Suarez also got his big break at the club, netting 15 times in 2006-07 for them before being snapped up by Ajax for 10 times what Groningen paid for him. So, another part of this rebuild, as well as building from the bottom, building a youth team, getting back in the top flight, is trying to discover another future superstar who may go on to be the best player in the world. We're heading to China for the 5th and final entry on this list to take over and rebuild Guangzhou FC, formerly known as Guangzhou Evergrande. Guangzhou were promoted to the top flight of Chinese football back in 2010, and between 2011 and 2020 they finished in the top 2 of the top flight, winning the league 8 times between 2011 and 2019, finishing 2nd in the league in 2018 and 2020. They won the AFC Champions League twice in 2013 and 2015. They won the Chinese FA Cup twice, and they won the Chinese FA Super Cup 4 times. But the Chinese financial crisis of 2021 affected Evergrande Group that owned Guangzhou, and everything went a little bit tits up. All of their star players left the side, and they ended up being relegated 2nd from bottom in 2022. Now they play in the Chinese 2nd tier, and in real life they're struggling. Not only that, but there is still a bit of a financial crisis going on. Guangzhou now play in a stadium of a capacity of 18,000. Stadium name I can't pronounce, by the way. They used to play in a stadium with over 54,000. They were going to have a stadium with 100,000, but the Chinese property sector crisis put paid to those plans as they were cancelled. So, you're playing in a smaller stadium, you've not got much money, you've got a team that solely consists of Chinese players, and you're trying to do something that they can't do in real life, and that's bounce back to the top flight. It's going to be tough. There are restrictions in the rules over in China as well. You're only allowed a certain amount of foreign players and stuff. So if you've never managed in China before, you're going to have to get used to the rules of Chinese football. And you're going to have to try and pronounce some of the player names in the stadiums. And if you can, you're better than me. But that is our 5th and final entry on the list, Guangzhou FC. And there you have it. There are 5 teams outside of England to rebuild in FM24. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do smash that like button and let me know in the comments section who you are going to manage in FM24. Where's your starting point? Is it going to be a rebuild, or is it going to be a youth to glory, or a bottom to top, or whatever, like Park to Premier type thing? Let me know in the comment section where you're going to be heading in FM24, and also what teams I've not got on this list that you think are worthy of a rebuild. Anyway, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much for watching. And until next time, bye-bye for now.